Someone once said something to you, and it felt like love. It sounded like care. It looked like devotion. But something in your body knew. Something quiet beneath the warmth. Knew. You couldn't name it then. You didn't have the words. And without words, you couldn't defend yourself against it. This video gives you the words. 6 phrases. 6 sentences you may have heard, or are hearing right now. Each one sounds like love. Each one functions as control. By the end of this, you will never unhear them. And that is the only protection that actually lasts. Section 2. The Problem Deep Dive. Here is what manipulation in relationships actually looks like. It doesn't arrive with a warning label. It doesn't feel like harm. It feels like intensity. It feels like someone who cares so deeply, they can't help how they act. It feels, at first, like finally being loved the way you always wanted. Psychologists call this coercive control, a pattern in which one person uses emotional tactics to limit another's autonomy, thought, and behavior. The tactics are rarely physical. They live in language, in the sentences whispered after an argument, in the phrases delivered just before you were about to leave. Linguist Robin Lakoff's work on language and power shows us something important. Language is not neutral. The words someone chooses and the timing of when they say them reveal the power structure beneath the relationship. Manipulation doesn't need volume. It doesn't need anger. The most effective manipulation is delivered softly, with tears, with love, with a voice that sounds like it's breaking. That is what makes it so hard to identify, and so hard to leave. Section 3. The Reframe. Before we go further, one thing needs to be said. If you recognize these phrases from your own relationships, you are not naive. You are not weak. You are not broken for having believed them. The human brain is wired for attachment. We are neurologically designed to want to believe that the people close to us mean well. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory tells us this. From the earliest moments of life, we are built to seek safety in other people, to trust the ones who are close, to interpret ambiguous signals from loved ones as love. Manipulation works precisely because it hijacks that wiring. It speaks in the language of attachment, while functioning as its opposite. You were not fooled because you were foolish. You were targeted because you were human. There is a difference, and it matters enormously. Section 4. The 6 phrases. Psychological mechanisms. This section explores 6 powerful phrases and the psychological mechanisms. It breaks down how subtle language patterns can shape perception, behavior, and decision-making without us even realizing it. Phrase 1. If you loved me, you would. This sentence does something very specific in the brain. It takes your love, something real and internal, and makes it contingent. Psychologists call this conditional positive regard, a concept introduced by Carl Rogers, who argued that healthy love is unconditional. It is given freely, not as payment for compliance. When someone says, "If you loved me, you would," they are redefining love as performance. They are telling you that your feelings are not real until proven through action. Their specific request, on their timeline. And here is the mechanism. Every time you comply, your brain reinforces the equation. Love equals giving them what they want. Refusal equals not loving them. Over time, you lose access to your own judgment, because your judgment has been quietly replaced by their definition of what love looks like. What it actually is. Emotional coercion dressed in romantic language. Love does not require proof. It does not need to be earned through surrender. Phrase 2. I only act this way because of how much I care. This phrase performs a sleight of hand. It takes harmful behavior and reframes it as evidence of love. Psychologist Albert Ellis described a cognitive distortion called emotional reasoning, the belief that because you feel something strongly, it must be true and justified. I only act this way because of how much I care uses this exact distortion. It says, my intensity is proof of love. My anger is love. My jealousy is love. My control is love. And your nervous system, conditioned to associate intensity with passion, can begin to believe it. But research on healthy relationships tells us the opposite is true. Psychologist John Gottman's decades of couples research found that contempt, criticism, and emotional flooding are the strongest predictors of relationship breakdown, not signs of love. Intensity is not depth. Volume is not devotion. And behavior that harms you, regardless of the feeling behind it, is still harm. Phrase 3. You're too sensitive. This is one of the most powerful phrases in the manipulation toolkit, not because it wounds, but because of what it does to your perception of reality. Psychologists have a term for this pattern: gaslighting. Named after the 1944 film Gaslight, in which a husband manipulates his wife into questioning her own sanity. When someone responds to your pain with, "You're too sensitive," they are doing several things at once. They are invalidating your emotional response. They are making your perception, not their behavior, the problem. And they are teaching you to distrust yourself. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett's research on emotion construction tells us that emotions are not random. They are the brain's interpretation of real internal signals. When you feel hurt, something real happened in your body. You're too sensitive is an attempt to override that signal, to make you doubt the very thing your nervous system is trying to tell you. Over time, this works. You stop bringing up what hurts, not because it stopped hurting, because you stopped trusting that your hurt was real. Phrase 4. After everything I've done for you. This phrase activates something very deep in human psychology. Reciprocity. Social psychologist Robert Cialdini identified reciprocity as one of the most powerful drivers of human behavior. When someone gives us something, we feel, at a biological level, obligated to give back. Healthy relationships involve mutual generosity without scorekeeping, but manipulation converts generosity into currency. After everything I've done for you, says, everything I gave you was actually a loan, and now the debt is due. This phrase is often delivered at the exact moment you try to set a boundary, the moment you say no, the moment you try to leave. The timing is not accidental. It is designed to produce guilt at the moment you are closest to protecting yourself. Real love does not keep a ledger. Real love does not present an invoice when you disappoint them. Phrase 5. No one will ever love you the way I do. This sentence is a masterpiece of psychological engineering. It contains a threat and a comfort, simultaneously. The comfort: I love you uniquely, deeply, completely. The threat: without me, you are unlovable. Psychologists who work with survivors of narcissistic abuse identify this as a devaluation tactic used most commonly during the phase when the partner begins to pull away. It works by targeting something already fragile, your core beliefs about whether you deserve love. Schema therapy, developed by Jeffrey Young, identifies defectiveness schemas, deeply held beliefs formed in childhood that you are somehow flawed, unworthy, or unlovable. A manipulator, consciously or not, finds these schemas, and this phrase activates them with precision. Because if you believe, somewhere underneath it all, that you are difficult to love, then this sentence does not sound like a threat. It sounds like the truth. It isn't. Your capacity to be loved is not determined by the person trying to make you believe it is. Phrase 6. I was just joking. You're so dramatic. This phrase is what psychologists call plausible deniability in action. It is the escape hatch built into every cruel thing said under the label of humor. Researcher Penelope Brown's work on politeness theory shows us that humor is one of the most common vehicles for delivering what could not be said directly. It allows someone to wound and then claim innocence. I was just joking says, your pain is not legitimate. You're so dramatic amplifies it. Your reaction is the problem, not what was said. This pattern, wound, deny, reframe, is a complete manipulation cycle delivered in 2 sentences. And it is extraordinarily effective because laughter is socially disarming. We have been conditioned since childhood to believe that if something was funny, we are not allowed to be hurt by it. But hurt is not a performance, and humor is not a legal immunity from the impact of words. If something consistently disguised as a joke leaves you consistently feeling small, that is not comedy. That is a pattern. Section 5. Practical framework. So what do you do when you hear these phrases? Step 1. Name it in real time. The moment you hear one of these phrases, your brain will likely enter a stress response, confusion, self-doubt, the urge to appease. Before you respond, name it internally. That is conditional positive regard. That is reciprocity being weaponized. That is gaslighting. Why it works. Naming activates the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain. It creates psychological distance between the phrase and your automatic emotional response. Research by Matthew Lieberman at UCLA shows that affect labeling, naming an emotion, reduces amygdala activation. In plain terms, naming the pattern calms the panic. And calm is where clarity lives. In daily life, you hear, "You're too sensitive." Instead of defending yourself, you pause. You say nothing. Internally, that is an invalidation tactic. The floor holds. Step 2. Trust your first reaction before the reframe arrives. Manipulation works fastest in the gap between your first reaction and their explanation of it. Your first reaction is often the most honest data you have. Why it works. Antonio Damasio's somatic marker hypothesis shows that the body processes emotional information faster than the conscious mind. What you feel in the first seconds, before the explanation arrives, is neurologically prior. It deserves weight. In daily life, something they said hurt. Before they tell you why it shouldn't, write down what you felt. One sentence. Keep it. Don't let their narrative erase it. Step 3. Notice the pattern, not just the incident. One phrase once may be clumsy communication. The same phrase across months is a behavioral pattern. Psychologists distinguish between an event and a schema, a repeated structure. Individual events are forgettable. Patterns are the truth. In daily life, keep a simple log, not to build a court case, but to see clearly. When you can see the pattern written down, the fog that manipulation creates begins to lift. Step 4. Let your boundary be a sentence, not an argument. Manipulation thrives in argument, in explanation, in the negotiation of your right to feel what you feel. Psychologist Harriet Lerner's research on boundary setting shows that clear, brief, non-defensive responses are more effective than lengthy justifications. Why it works. A long explanation signals that your position is open for debate. A short, calm sentence closes the negotiation. In daily life, I don't agree with that. That hurt me, regardless of how it was intended. One sentence, no further explanation required. Step 5. Separate the love from the behavior. One of the hardest parts of recognizing manipulation is that the person doing it often does feel something real. Love and harm can coexist in the same person. That does not make the harm acceptable. That does not mean you are obligated to absorb it. Why it works. Cognitive diffusion, a principle from acceptance and commitment. Therapy teaches us to separate what someone feels from what they do. You can hold both truths at once. They may love you, and their behavior is harmful. One does not cancel the other. In daily life, when you catch yourself thinking, "But they love me," as a reason to stay, finish the sentence. They love me, and they consistently make me feel small. Both, at the same time. And then decide what to do with that. Section 6. Integration. Here is the one thing to carry. Language is not neutral. The phrases people use, especially in moments of tension, are a map of how they relate to your autonomy. Someone who respects you does not need to make your love conditional. They do not need to make you doubt your perception. They do not need to convert their generosity into debt. That is not what love asks. Love, real love, leaves you more yourself, not less. Section 7. Quiet, empowering, close. You came to this video with something already in you, a sense that something wasn't right, a feeling you couldn't yet name. That feeling was not weakness. That was your nervous system, doing its job, trying to protect something in you that knew its own worth. The phrases in this video are common. They are used by people across every type of relationship, and they work until they are seen. So see them, not with rage, not with bitterness, with the calm, quiet clarity of someone who finally has the words. Because once you have the words, you also have the choice. And choice is where everything begins. If this video described your relationship, past or present, take that seriously. The next video on this channel breaks down the narcissist's playbook, step by step. Watch it. Share it with someone who needs it. Because once you see these patterns, you cannot unsee them. And that is the only protection that lasts.